Hello everybody, and just here, and welcome back to Shihai, episode 2. It's a little bit late, I know. You guys have been pestering me in the comments on my Discord. I didn't know Shihai will have such a, loyal fan base to it, but apparently yeah, it is a little bit late. I already said it in Magia Record episode 8, but my explanation is that on Monday I spent the day watching some TV shows with my mom and reading manhwa, and I just didn't record. I have nothing else to, to say for myself. That's the best justification you're gonna get, I'm afraid. But yeah, we are here finally at last. Shihai episode 2. What happened in episode 1? Well, we got an introduction. That's basically it. Episode 1 gave us an introduction, a little bit of an introduction to the world, in that every country, or most countries, or some countries at least, have heroes. There is no more than one hero per country. We know that the hero powers can awaken in just about anybody, including a very shy girl with social anxiety like Teru. We were introduced to some of the characters. Teru Momijiyama, the titular Shihai, also Pepesha Andrianov. Pepesha, her nickname is like Mist something, or something with Mist, I think. But yeah, that's a Russian hero who is helping Teru, who is helping Shihai every now and then. A couple of others as well, and the girl who will now be Teru's classmate, who she saved. Because that also happened in the previous episode. Teru, or Shihai rather, beating herself up over the fact that she didn't manage to save one person. She saved like 19 people on a failing roller coaster, but one of them went into a coma. And she just didn't see those 19 people she saved, but rather that one person she didn't. Now, to be fair, the media and the social media and the people have also only seen the 19 people who weren't saved instead of the one person who wasn't saved instead of the 19 people who were. So, right. But yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that she really beat herself up over something that eventually turned out to not really be an issue, because the girl just got better and she came out of the hospital, and now she is attending the same school as Teru. So all's well that ends well. Of course, Teru had the support of Pepesha all this time, of Envilio, which is that weird like monster thing that follows her around and tells her about occurrences that she might be able to help with. I don't quite know what that thing is. The technicalities of being a hero in general are so far very poorly explained, or rather not explained at all. Right? Shihai has that jetpack. Her suit, did she make it herself? Did she get it from someone? Did it just appear? Where did she get the transformation bracelets? Where does Envilio come from? Does Pepesha have her own Envilio? Right? All sorts of questions. We were really thrown in medias res. We know nothing about the world, all things considered. We know nothing about the technologies. We know nothing about how anything works. We just know the characters. And near the end, it turns out that there is a space station that is some sort of a hero association that Shihai has been deemed good enough, I think, to join, where we've met Unilord, who says that there's going to be a big trouble on Earth. because sure, there are superheroes, but there's probably also gonna be supervillains, right? Where the superheroes are the light that guides humanity, that gives them hope. There's also that kind of a shadow, because, you know, yin and yang, it has to be balanced. Probably something along those lines. I don't know, I'm not sure. We have certainly seen a shady individual, though. That one boy who kind of looks like Mephisto from Arknights. And if someone looks like Mephisto from Arknight, they're probably bad news. So, yeah, so there we have it. Oh, right, and sorry, I smacked my mic. Shai also managed to save a mother and a child from a burning hospital, so that kind of gave her a little bit of a boost to her ego. And then later she herself was saved by Pepesha. And she has a fan now. That one boy, the brother of the girl who she saved, who she didn't save, quote unquote, from the roller coaster, and now he knows how she looks in real life. Real life. I mean, in, you know, when she's not a hero, in casual wear, so to speak. So now he knows what Shai looks under the mask. And the girl herself became Shai's classmate and sits right next to her. So she will probably try to befriend Shai, and shenanigans are going to ensue. I have a feeling. So, I think that does it for the recap. What do I expect from today's episode? I don't know. It really seems to me like a fairly episodic series. Maybe not, but the previous episode was fairly self-contained and just served the purpose of establishing some ground rules, creating the starting point, introducing us to the world, to the characters and whatnot. So today's episode can start from wherever. It can be an invasion of space aliens that Unilord talked about. It could be saving a kitten from the tree. It could be Shai having a meltdown over the fact that the girl from the next seat over talked to her. Could be anything, really. Honestly, I have no expectations for it. It's probably gonna be good though. That's the only expectation I have. So how about we just stop talking and start watching? If my voice sounds weird, that's because it's the third episode I'm recording in a row. So it's kind of getting strained. But yeah, to start watching this episode, you will of course need your subs down below to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound. Earphones instead of my usual headphones. That's another reason why my voice might sound too loud or too quiet or all sorts of weird ways, because I can't hear my own voice really well with them. I can hear it well with my headphones, not with my earphones. Can't use headphones because of this, because I can't touch my re-pierced ear for a couple of weeks at least. So, one last thing. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, cause nothing helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, we can start watching Shai episode 2 in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, Cat in Middle, that's the name of the school. Okay. Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. Okay, sure. I mean, her leg is injured, it's no big deal. Opening, of course. Did we see the opening in episode 1? I'm not sure. Somehow I don't think we did. Yeah, I don't think we did. I don't remember those visuals. Or this song, for that matter. Oh, okay. So, Envilio can just turn into a sword. Apparently. Sure. And we have the villains, and there's the boy. The opening is very ever so slightly spoilery, isn't it? I still find it interesting that Shai's powers are fire. Fire is something, powerful, untamed, fast, and aggressive. The complete opposite of Teru. She feels that Shai saved her life. Or that. Well, he's helpful. Skirts with pockets? Okay. Talk to her. You're oh. And help her. Well, you don't look fine. She has her crutches. Okay. Is she going to be the much needed boost to Teru's ego and self confidence and whatnot? Yeah, probably. Probably. She's going to be a positive change in Teru's life, isn't she? Okay. So nothing serious. I'm not gonna say anything. This is just Shai's character. She needs to work through it. Oh, you don't say! You don't say. Another downside of earphones, they shift in my ears as I speak, so I have to readjust them. Okay, yeah. She's absolutely going to do wonders to Shai's, to Teru's self confidence and whatnot. Yeah. And also, she saved my fucking life. Exactly. Okay, so that's been cleared up. I honestly was afraid that we're going to drag the whole thing for like a few episodes. Teru trying to approach Iko. Oh? Well, that's not your knee hurting. Is she going to awaken as a supervillain or something? That's a very cool visual. Oh, hello, Mephisto. Curious. That's a supervillain ring, isn't it? Superheroes have bracelets, supervillains have rings. And Black Sclera. And Bloody Tears. Are you going to save her? Or has the change already happened? Black Eye? Black Eye. Okay, so the change has already happened. Question is, can she be saved? Or is she going to run off and become the supervillain? I mean, it's a nice sentiment. Well, shit. Hopefully destroying the ring is enough to turn her back. Because I'd rather not have her die episode 2. She has oripathy. Mephisto oripathy. Okay, we're just going balls to the wall with just episode 2 already. Shit. I mean, it is aesthetically pretty. It's not a pretty situation, though. Clink, clink. Yep. That's exactly what Unilord talked about. He just wants to open people's hearts. Yeah. Clink, clink. No, not yet. Okay. And her body. No, it's probably not. You know it, I know it, but Shai doesn't. Resentment towards herself. That's it, isn't it? Yep. And she was saved twice more by Teru. And it woke up those emotions in her. Yep, it's absolutely self-hatred. Not just for her own sake, but also for Shai's sake. No? Yes, okay, finally. That's a nice music. And the jig is up. Yeah, don't make me waste my work. Why did it trigger her even further? Help me? Help me. The magic words. Okay, we're going to some secluded place. Can the shrimp not see that the source of the corruption is in the ring? I wonder. Okay, it can. Yep. Or destroy the ring. Although it could probably be useful for analysis. Yeah, not gonna be easy. You're gonna need to amputate her finger or something. Where were you? Because she was probably like 5. Yep. And just directing hatred at whoever. Is Shai's power, true power, actually going to be that of the heart? Quote unquote? That she's able to understand and empathize? Could very well be that where other heroes would just jump in guns blazing, Shai makes an attempt to understand. Yeah, I think I'm onto something. I think I'm onto something. Yeah, let her work through her traumas. Her parents, sister, aunt. I don't know. Yeah. You carry the torch. That's how you honor the dead. You carry the torch. There's nothing you could have done. No music. Art style change. Okay. Yeah, she didn't even need to do anything, drastic like cutting off her finger or anything. Just understanding. Fucking psychotherapy. Psychotherapy is so rare in Japan that it just became a superpower. No, she made the risk. She took the risk. Mephisto? Mephisto. Yep, the hero of the heart. Legit. Don't sweat it. That's the job of a superhero, isn't it? Okay, pay it forward. And that's how they became the best gal pals ever. Thank you for saving me. Yeah? That's gonna be what? 3 times now, isn't it? Okay. Okay. I see where this is going, I think. Shai's actual superpower is empathy. Okay, how about we watch this one again? Shall we? And it kinda does seem like it's gonna be fairly episodic. Villain of the week. New mathematics too. The name New Mathematics, it either implies just a new edition of the book, or it implies some fucky-wacky technological breakthrough kind of situation where people had to create new mathematics because old mathematics just stopped working. Right? And that could explain the technology of the bracelets, of the jetpack, of the space station, and whatnot. Although we don't really see much other examples of technology, like the school doesn't use holograms, students don't have semi-translucent or translucent phones on them, or anything of the sort. So I have to keep wondering about the technological level of this world. Now we know where the hand comes from and the crystalline spikes. Shiny Girl, I assume this is the title of the OP. Cool, fun OP. A little bit spoilery for my tastes. Revealing who the villains are, not leaving any ambiguity as to the nature of this boy. Showing us, some couple of other villains. Now we will know already right from the get-go who they are. Not a huge fan of that, but besides that, cool opening. I liked it. Of course, she's worried, but still, her first instinct when she sees someone in distress is to help. She worries about how that help might have been received. Does Koishikawa resent her? Does she not? But when she sees Koishikawa in distress, she just rushes in to help. That doesn't change. She's good-natured and heroic just by nature. She just is. That's why she became the hero. Yeah, sure, she needs to take some painkillers. I really, really like. Right, yeah, sure. She tells the story. But what's important here is this. Just straight up, out with the question. Do you resent Shy? No, I don't. No one could resent someone like that. She saved me. Thank you. Honestly, thank you. I was really afraid that this is going to be a drama that we continue for episodes and episodes, that the question from Teru will appear in like episode 6 or so, that she perhaps will continue saving Iko and saving her and saving and saving and never actually asking the question, or she always gets injured somehow and Teru starts resenting herself more and more because of that, or some bullshit dumb drama that could have been solved by people talking. I'm glad it gets solved by people talking. It's refreshing to see that. It really is. Now I feel bad. And memories of her parents burning. Some cool visuals. Some like clockwork, some fluid, some different sorts of visuals, and this boy, fucking Mephisto, with his tentacle umbrella animated on once, so it's probably CG. Yeah, it's definitely CG. Your heart's been locked up. And now you can open up your heart. This is interesting to me. This is interesting on multiple levels. This world is full of countless hearts that have been closed. So many are stuffed in tiny cages. Everyone thinks that they can show their true heart. I'll destroy those cages and have everybody show their true heart. This is interesting because ultimately, if you just strip off the visual representation of it, and you strip off the story and everything else, if you just take the sentiment itself of freeing people's hearts, that's ultimately good, isn't it? Right? The dream, the goal, the pursuit of freeing people, giving people the ability to speak and act freely, to not keep their emotions and traumas and whatnot bottled up, and free them of that burden. That's good. That is like legit. That is the goal of psychotherapy. To get to all of those locked up places in your heart, in your soul, in your mind, wherever, whatever you want to call it, and go through them all one by one, unlocking them, opening them, and going through what happened there, understanding it, grieving it, if need be, crying over it, if need be, but working through it, and then opening another box and working through that. That is legit the goal of psychotherapy. So, what he is doing here, his ultimate goal is to provide free, instant psychotherapy to the world as a whole. That is a noble goal. But the way he goes about it is ignoble, to say the least. And also, it raises a good question. Two good questions, actually. One good question is, aren't some of those things better off actually bottled up? Because if they just spill over, something like this could happen. And it raises a very good point of that change, that, going through all those locked boxes in your heart, in your mind, wherever, it has to be gradual, and it has to be a guided experience, and it has to be done with empathy, the way Shihai does it. Shihai essentially helps Iko go through the process of grieving properly. All of those stages of grief, anger, pleading, etc., etc. Iko goes through them with Shihai. She goes through the proper process of dealing with those locked up places in her heart. What Mephisto is doing is taking a crowbar and prying every single drawer open. Not going through them one by one, not slowly going through everything, allowing all of those processes to take place. He's just cracking it open. And of course, there is this whole supernatural element to it, because if his deal was just that he can make everybody just open up, that would probably cause some issues, because people would suddenly start dumping their traumas on other people and talking about that stuff, and some things that maybe should have stayed hidden would have resurfaced. It would cause a lot of chaos. But he's doing more. He's not just doing that. He's manifesting those negative, bottled up emotions. He's bringing them to the world and probably cranking them up to like 11 at the very least. Because none of this shit happens during therapy. I can tell you that much. I haven't grown any crystals on my back quite yet, although they look cool. This is her heart, filled with feelings of rage and hatred. Yeah. So he freed the heart, but in a very explosive and negative way. And again, who brings forth darkness in people's hearts. So his goal isn't so much to help people deal with whatever they have bottled up. His goal is to bring forth the darkness in people's hearts. That seems to be the case, at least from what Unilord said, what the shrimp is saying. So it's not really fully entirely the case of good intentions manifest in bad ways, but rather his intentions are from the get-go evil. Although I'm not entirely 100% convinced of that. I'm not 100% convinced. Hearts to be freer. I thought for a moment that he's going to take that crystal, that perhaps this is his way of perhaps harvesting emotions. Maybe some crystals that power his spaceship or whatever can only be manifested when under heavy negative emotions or something like that. But no, he just crushes it. And he seems to just want to stir shit up. That's legit it. And of course that, idealistic opening up people's hearts, but we see how it ends up. Also, I'm gonna have to go a little bit back. Right, when she got the ring, I really was afraid. On one hand afraid, on the other kind of expecting, and kind of maybe even excited a little bit for that, because it's always a very interesting plot in not just superhero shows, but any sort of a show where either the sidekick or the civilian friend becomes the villain. It's a fairly common plot, isn't it? And I really thought that this is what they're going for here, that just how superheroes can be awakened, so can supervillains, and that she will become the supervillain, and that at school they will be the bestest of friends, but when they henshin, they become the supervillain and the superhero, and they have to fight. I really thought this is the direction we're going. But it seems like we went for something much more immediate. Just turning her into a monster and solving that problem within the same episode. And yeah, it's not resentment towards Shai, it's resentment towards herself. Yeah, my parents died because of me. Now you are experiencing bad things because I look the way I look. Now Shai is having to go through whatever issues, whatever troubles, and people talking smack about her because of me. If she didn't save me, or if I wasn't there, Shai wouldn't have to deal with that. Right? There's a lot of resentment that slowly stops making sense because although I guess sure it maybe makes sense in her head in that if I was never born, they wouldn't have saved me, and I wouldn't be on the roller coaster, and then nobody would talk smack about Shai. Again, it I guess makes sense in her head, but it's ultimately probably driven out by the ring that really opens up her heart. I mean, it worked. She really is spilling everything out of herself, but you should probably be doing that in a psychologist's office and not in the school nurse office while becoming a monster. Don't get hurt like Shai did, all because of someone like me. No, Shai's not gonna allow it. I really didn't expect the reveal to happen in just episode 2. I really didn't. I really expected that they're gonna go for a long burn, for a slow burn, that Iko is going to become the villain, the super villain, and uh, that's what the season is gonna be about. And perhaps in the finale, it's gonna be revealed that I'm Teru actually. Oh well, I'm Iko actually. Well, we were friends at school, but now we're fighting. Why? That kind of deal. But no, they're going through it much faster than I expected, really. Or rather, they're going through it with much less drama, like drawn out drama than I expected. Everything has been set up pretty much by episode 2. We have maybe not a sidekick, but we have someone who knows of Shai's true identity. We already have 2 people actually who know of it. We already have a friend. We already know who the villain is. We already know how the villain operates. Everything has been set up by episode 2. Episode 3 is going to continue from there on. This is how you go through it. This is how you go through the locked up emotions and griefs and whatnot, and grievances, rather, in your heart. You're going to lose someone dear to you. Those words are a curse. You can't say, help me, because it always leads someone to get hurt. I didn't know Shai can open teleporters. I thought you had to be like a much more advanced superhero. That's why Pepesha was able to open a teleport to the space station, but Shai seemed kind of, surprised by that portal. But no, apparently she can open them as well. It's actually a very nice, very cool tool, this teleport. What she said here, if we stay there, the nurse's office would be in danger. This allows them, this gives them an in-world explanation and a way to get away from a crowded place or school or a restaurant or wherever and fight in the, Power Rangers Stone Quarry, essentially. That was always kind of weird watching those Super Sentai shows, Power Rangers especially, why every big fight would happen in the same fucking stone quarry. Right? How did they get there? Why did they get there? Why did the big bad monster attack the stone quarry? I don't know. But it was the only place without any. Well, it was probably cheap to rent, to film there, and you could explode things to your heart's content. But in world explanation would probably be along the lines of, well, it's empty, there's nobody there, we can't cause harm to bystanders. This is a good explanation and a good way to move fight to somewhere where the bystanders won't be involved. It's cool. The analysis is complete. Get rid of the ring. I really thought again this show subverted my expectations. I really thought that Teru is going to have to go through a lesson like, it's better to save someone's life even if they get hurt in the process rather than not save them. Because she had kind of an issue with that in the first episode, right? That she saved Iko, right? But she was hurt and that doesn't count as saving in her mind. I really thought that she's gonna have to actually just amputate her finger to save her life. That the injury will no more be because of Shai's negligence, but rather Shai will have to actually actively injure her to save her life. I really thought we're going in that direction. But no. Instead of that, we're going through empathy. Shai really is the hero of the heart. Just my initial joke from episode 1, where I joked about how she's pink, so and the Captain Planet kid who was pink was the heart, had the ring of heart. Well, maybe she's the hero of heart. Turns out I was correct. And you hated yourself for wanting help. I'm sure I heard it. I heard you ask for help, and I promised that I would save you. Throw all of the hatred within you at me. I'll answer with my heart. Yeah, just taking on all of the raw emotions, letting her spill her heart out, beat her heart out. And Teru was also taught a similar, well, not a similar, but an important lesson when I assume her parents died. I'm not sure whose funeral it is, but I assume it's her parents. Yeah, carry the kindness. If you're kind to someone, you're gonna live within their heart, and the people that lived within your heart will live along. You're creating a chain of kindness. And when you connect with someone, yeah. Truly the hero of heart. Reminds me of the one thing I was reminded of. Uh, I'm reading a manhwa right now. I think it's called like SSS Class Suicide Hero, something along those lines. In any case, the main character there, it's a standard manhwa setup, city, tower suddenly sprouted in the middle, and you need to go to the tower, climb it, yada yada. Usually the floors of that tower would be cleared by, beating the boss or beating the army of mobs or whatever. But the main character approaches it differently because, as it turns out, you can approach it that way. Instead of just defeating the boss, he tries to understand the boss. And if the boss has certain, I know, um, first big floor that he cleared, a little bit of a spoiler, I guess. Um, there's the boss is a bunch of dolls in a mansion that's on fire, and you need to find the real doll and destroy it, and that's how you can clear the area, supposedly. But instead, he learns about the dolls' traumas. He knows that those dolls are actually kids who were left in that mansion when it was burning, and they have resentment because of that, because they were never given a chance to play together and whatnot. So when he goes into that mansion and hears the dolls say, "Play with us," he plays with them and solves the issue of that boss that way. Instead of throwing hands, he goes through it with empathy and with, high emotional intelligence and whatnot. And some cheat skills, because of course, but my point stands. I was immediately reminded of it. Because again, could a different superhero have saved this, have fixed, that's the wrong word to use here. Um, could he have, I guess, sure, fixed this situation in different ways? Yes, sure. Someone could have cut off her finger, maybe. Pepesha could probably have frozen her and then took the ring off. Sure, absolutely. Some superhero who might be more ruthless could have just killed her. That's also a possibility, right? But Shai didn't go that way. No, she went the path of empathy. She understood the underlying issue and cracked all of those rocks, cracked all of those stones, took off the ring, and saved her that way. Yeah, she's unique that way. That's what makes her unique. And you just pay it forward. Don't need to thank me, just pay the kindness forward. Something tells me she's gonna pay the kindness towards Teru, and she's gonna become her friend, even at school. If everyone is able to smile because of that, nothing could make me happier. Thank you. Yeah. No injuries or deaths. Something tells me this is going to be the running theme, right? Okay. So that was episode 2 of Shy, and as I said, something tells me it's going to be the running theme here, where perhaps some other heroes are going to try to. Another crystalline monster appears somewhere in Japan. The heroes are fighting it, dishing out hands, shooting laser beams out of their eyes and whatnot. Shai arrives on the scene and just empathizes with the monster and just understands that monster's grievances and his issues, and has an insight into that monster's heart, and solves the problem that way. The rocks shatter, Shihai takes off the ring, problem is solved. The monster turns out to just be a high school boy who's always been bedridden, and he resents the world because he was never able to experience anything other people of his age were able to experience because he spent his whole life in a hospital. You know, situations of that kind. It's cool. I like it. I really like how unique it is in that regard. That yeah, that you don't necessarily need or have to, or rather that just turning someone back into a human isn't necessarily enough always, because you can do that as a hero. You can cut off the finger with the ring and they're gonna be back to normal probably. But it's better to fix the issue at the core. Other heroes might be able to save those people from becoming monsters, but Shihai will be able to not only save them from becoming monsters, but she will also be able to save them from themselves, for the lack of a better word, give them a sped up course of psychotherapy. Not only saving them from being monsters, but also making them better people, fixing them, whatever that would entail. I wonder if we actually continue that way. I hope we do. I hope I'm correct about the themes of this show, about the themes of this story, because I would really like it to be the case, rather than Shihai throwing fireballs left and right. I mean, sure, I will gladly see Shihai throw fireballs every here and then. Absolutely, it's probably gonna look cool as fuck. But the theme of Shihai being possibly the only hero who can use her heart as her superpower, that's extremely appealing to me. Okay, I think that's it. I don't think I have anything more to say on the topic, but maybe you guys do, and if so, say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers from the source material. They can go to my Discord here and also linked in the description below. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Shihai, but also Helck, Zom 100, Frieren, what else is there? Shangri-La Frontier, Nanatsu no Maken, Shihai, Suru, and others can Meguca in the future. I also stream sometimes, so you might wanna click the bell icon to be notified when I go live. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, linked down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Magia Record, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And you can also support me on YouTube itself with super thanks, memberships, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my wonderful Patreons: QB without a net, Survivor, Zetran, Zayrainer, Shoshua, Master, Fassel, David, Dr. Wood, Mahoutsukai, and Hans Peter. And you can join them without having to open up your home.